because they weren't cheap, when you're trying to start, you're like $150 a piece every time you do a sample with a factory.
Okay, so I have a follow-up question then. You ordered hundreds of brands. How long did it take? Are you okay saying how much it was? What's up, everybody? Welcome to Real Men, Real Talk. This is the place where we have interesting conversations in the world's most comfortable underwear. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be a different episode because I am joined by our glorious founder, Jared Mortensen himself.
Oh, you're very kind. I appreciate it. So sorry, it's been a long time since I've been able to connect and do one of these. So
yeah, I'm super excited because the last time the set wasn't as good. I was not as good at asking questions or saying words. So I'm pretty excited about this, a chance to redeem myself. But we're going to start out with Jared's story. How and why on earth did you start a men's underwear company?
yeah, so super crazy, and a lot of people, like in my family and others, is like, hey, why would you even do this? So I didn't even talk about it for a little while as far as when I had the idea, because I was in aerospace for 20 years, and then I went and was recruited to work at a pet products company, which was a complete shift. So a lot of people thought I was crazy to go and do that. And at that pet products company, I learned about selling online on Amazon and on websites and things like that. One of the companies we purchased was a pure play Amazon business. And so it's like, hey, I can do this. And, I've thought about different businesses. We had a furniture business quite a while ago, and then went back to aerospace. And so, but one issue I've had for a long time is just men's underwear just does not fit very well. It doesn't fit a men's body. And so I literally bought hundreds of different brands from all over the world, trying to find stuff that would fit better. And there were some that had some decent fits. Either it was really hard to understand the sizing, or they're really expensive. The quality, maybe the fit was okay, but the quality wasn't very good. So there are certain brands that, okay, maybe they have a couple, pouch sizes, but one's a Mega Man and one's a Superman or something. I'm like, how do you know if you're Mega Man, Prime Man, or Superman, or whatever size? So it's just really difficult to find something that works for you. And there's not a lot of good resources online to help someone figure that sort of stuff out. And so I bought a lot of products trying to find stuff. And then I started designing stuff. And as we were winding down at the pet products company, I started to come up with some designs. And I started reaching out to companies on Alibaba. I'd purchased stuff on Alibaba before. So it's a website where you can connect with factories primarily overseas in India and China and other places. And so I started sending sketches and started doing some designs and trying to come up with some stuff that I thought would work better. And then that's where I ended up coming with the ABC pouch classification for guys package. So there was more of a standardized sizing for men, but it took me quite a while. A lot of samples, spent a lot of my savings doing samples because they weren't cheap. When you're trying to start, you're like $150 a piece every time you do a sample with a factory.
Okay, so I have a follow-up question then. You ordered hundreds of brands. How long did it take? Are you okay saying how much it was?
I bought a lot of different, and some of it was just for me, like trying to find stuff that fit. And so it went from just trying to find things that fit over a couple of year period to then, okay, I'm getting started. I'm going to get serious about actually like doing some sample. So from the time I started doing samples, that was probably in the summer of 2021. And then I officially incorporated the business in August of 21. November is when I placed my first PO, and then we started selling in March of 22. But as far as how much I spent on samples and all that, the products, the pants I worked on for a long time, I probably spent the most just on pant samples, but because I went through a lot of different factories trying to find something with them. But anyways, yeah, it was not a small amount of money.
Yeah, so I think I ordered my first product from you. It probably was mid 2022, and I really liked it. Like it wasn't the perfect fit for me, but I saw like the vision of where you were going, and especially that you hadn't used models, which I thought was like, that's weird. Like everybody uses models. What's up with that? So I tried the product and I kind of just kept it on my radar watching. So going into like, has your aerospace experience informed your development of the pouch system?
Yeah, as far as the pouch system and the designs themselves. So now I'm not an aerospace engineer. I worked in aerospace for 20 years. And so, but did a lot of
Okay.
tooling design and a lot of different, had a lot of different experience working around the design teams, but spent more time designing and
Okay.
programming. But as far as designing the product, we really think in 2D. So most factory, and this is a struggle as I work with factories and other individuals, they really think in a 2D model, but our bodies are not designed that way. And so we think about, how do we design the product so it'll fit in 3D because
Hmm.
things are wider, things stick out, things are, and so how's the material going to stretch? So it's a combination of how you work with the optimal materials that have the right amount of stretch and flexibility because our bodies change shape and size as we go throughout the day. As we okay, Thanksgiving's coming up, we eat a little too much, things expand.
Hmm.
And so we want to be able to have products that will move with our bodies as we change shape and size throughout the day and from week to week and month to month, but then also just accommodate our unique shapes and how men are, they're built different from guy to guy. And so
Hmm.
we wanted to design a product that could actually accommodate that and fit that. Now, aerospace and the way that we design products, very important to have things standardized so that you can replace things and so and people know what they're going to get. So that's what the ABCD pouch classification really came from, is so guys can really find out, okay, I'm a B or I'm a C, and they can find a product that's going to consistently fit them, whether that's a boxer brief, a trunk, or a brief or a thong or something like that. So we wanted to come up with that standardized fit.
So, guys, I just want to highlight one thing. Jared is speaking very, how do I say this? Very gently around the issue, but when he talks about unique size and shape, we're not just talking about waist, we're talking about the size of your junk. So, just gonna put that out there. That is one of the key selling points of our product, is that it is fit for many different sizes of men. Now, it's not just about the frank length. It's not just about berry size, it's just the whole package. So talk to us a little bit about this specific issue of needing to size for a specific man and kind of the problems that you were seeing and how you address those.
Well, so there are some different pouch products out there. Now, some of them have like these, multiple pouches and
Hmm.
where you got berries in one and twig in the other. For me personally, they just weren't the right they fit. And there was like these seams that kind of caused a lot of chafing. And, it's like, how do you find something that actually fits? Because some people have just larger berries, right? Other people have a larger twig. And, so the single pouch system seems to work the best for us because you don't have to deal with all those variables. Everything just goes together and allows the guy to sit more naturally. So a lot of the way that we think is like, how did God design our bodies? Like, how do we actually sit naturally? And how do you design a product that is really going to support and accentuate like that natural form that we have versus forcing it
Hmm.
into unnatural positions and conditions where there's like multiple divisions. And so I thought a lot about that, and as we did different tests with different designs, how the pouch is positioned, because like as far as a guy's body, different guys are actually located in different places depending on
Hmm.
the guy, right? And so they may be bigger, but one guy may be positioned higher, somebody may be smaller, but they're positioned lower, right? So how do you design a product that is going to accommodate more men, generally, and it's really going to fit their body based upon where they're located, but also based upon their size. And so that's where we had
Hmm.
the single pouch design, with it being low enough that we can accommodate the majority of guys, but if they're positioned higher, they're going to be able to fit there. So we're trying to fit about 95% of men. So we're providing a custom fit without the custom price.
Yep.
And so to be able to accommodate, it's not just the package, but the waist and the thighs and the hip measurement and, all those different variables that play into how a product's going to fit for a guy.
And that's something that I love about Real Men as a brand, is that it's not about fitting, the small, medium, and large. Even though most of our purchasers are small, medium, and large, we are trying to say, like, hey, all you other guys with all your other shapes, you are welcome here at the table too. Like, your fit matters, your size matters. So that's one thing that I just really love about the company. And we may
Definitely.
get into that.
I was just going to say, we get a lot of feedback on that, particularly from guys that are on 3, 4, 5X. The fact that the fit works a lot better for them, and that we charge the same for a 3, 4, 5X that we do for a small, even though it costs a whole lot more for us to make. We try to maintain the same price because we don't feel like, you shouldn't be we should be punishing guys just because they're large. And that happens a
Yeah.
lot, particularly with guys on the larger side, that they're just paying through the nose for products that actually fit them.
And guys, just wanted to say, if you have been loving this content, if you love this interview, I want to make sure that you know you can like this video. You can also subscribe and comment and ask your questions, because we're going to be having Jared back in every now and then. We do have other subjects that we go over, but we want to hear your questions and we want to answer those. So we highly encourage you, ask your questions, and we'll put them up to Jared for him to answer. So without further ado, back to the episode. I wanted to make sure that I got that for possibly the beginning of the episode. Let's see, where were we? We were talking about fitment, about how we want it to fit all kinds of guys. Shoot, there was a place that I wanted to go there. Oh yeah. So I hear this from some guys who look at the pricing and they're used to buying like Hanes, Fruit of the Loom, and God bless you guys. I don't know how you do it. Like nothing against Hanes, or like if that fits you, I just don't understand it. So when they object, it can be on price. Talk to us about price and how can a guy justify this? Like, okay, like what's so great about your product that I've got to spend, like 30 for a 3-pack?
Yeah. So I mean, that is a concern for some individuals if they're used to buying a 12-pack at Walmart for $20 or something like. Actually, it's gone up quite a bit. They're even on those entry level brand, or those basic brands that a lot of people know. So the thing is, the quality of our materials is a lot higher, right? There's only certain products that I'm willing to put on my body, right? So the stuff that you'll find, typically the Hanes, Fruit of the Loom, they're either a cheap cotton or a cheap polyester, and so they're dealing with just cheaper materials. And so we use Modal for our organic materials, which there's like cotton. As far as the fit and the feel, there's cotton, and then you have bamboo, and then you have Modal, right? As far as the feel, so Modal is like twice as soft as cotton, antimicrobial, anti-odor. So it's made from the fiber of the beech tree. So it's just super, super soft, right? So I'm only going to sell stuff that I actually like, things that I would actually want to put on my body. And so it's not just about like a lot of these other brands are designed by executives in boardrooms. They really don't care about your fit and feel. They cram the same designs, down, just trying to make more money, like, on people for like 40, 50 years. And so, we really care about the fit and the feel, right? So it's the materials, it's the construction, and just the quality of the construction. We're gonna fit better, we're going to feel better, and it's going to last longer as you go through time. And so it's really about investment in your comfort, and whether you want to be comfortable as you go throughout the day. So there's some guys who's like, they'd rather spend more on a Big Mac than they would on a high quality pair of underwear with investments in products that fit you, underwear or your other clothes. Those things are gonna last. And so now the thing is, most of the customers that we're really like targeting are already purchasing products that are $30 or $40 a pair. So that's a lot of the customers that are really purchasing our products are buying stuff that's significantly more. So we can give somebody a better cost, a better price, better fit for a third to half the price of a Tommy John's or a Saxx or these other brands that have a pouch product, but you can just get a lot of better fit.
Well, man, guys, we have got to pause there. There's a lot more that we talk about with Jared, and we're going to be back with him next week. So until then, like, comment, subscribe. We do read the comments. So we will see you guys next time.